Have you ever been in a situation where you meet somebody for the first time and you're kind of making small talk? You start talking about the food you like, you start talking about your favorite music, and then you get into the really important stuff. And by the important stuff, I mean football. You tell them that you love football. They're like, yeah, I'm a football fan as well. Maybe they'll tell you the club that they support. But you never really know if they're as interested and as mentally involved in the sport as you are. You never really know whether or not they truly watch the sport, whether or not they truly understand the sport. And I think I have found the perfect and the one and only question that you need to ask somebody to truly gauge whether or not the person that you're speaking to understands anything about football. Just one simple question. Ask them their opinion on Bruno Fernandes. Manchester United 2, Crystal Palace 1. Another 3 points for Michael Carrick's Reds. And again, I will say, as I've said in the past few weeks, it was not always the prettiest football on display, specifically in the first half. But in the second half, United's big players, they really showed up. Bruno Fernandes, Benjamin Sesko, Mateus Cunha drawing the penalty. I mean, I saw a lot of really, really good things from Manchester United in the second half. And I just want to say one thing. If Manchester United find a way to let Bruno Fernandes leave the club this summer by any means, I do not care the amount of money that any club in the world is offering you as a club. You do not let this player go. You simply cannot replace the output, the creativity, the risk-taking, the amount of running that he does for the team. You cannot replace him. You can't. It's going to be impossible. It is going to be an absolute disgrace if Bruno Fernandes retires anywhere in the world that isn't Manchester United. But let's talk about the game in a little bit, because in the tactical analysis video we're going to drop, we're going to speak a lot about the impact that Bruno Fernandes has in the pockets, the impact Bruno Fernandes has, in the wide areas, those runs in behind. We're going to talk about all about it. But let's talk a little bit about the game and what we saw. So, of course, Crystal Palace go up 1-0. United concede to a set piece. In my opinion, it's not the best of defending from Lenny Euro. I actually don't think that Euro had the best game. He's obviously still young, and against those more physical number 9 to really duel in those 1v1s like Strand Larson, it can be a little bit of a test for Euro, and I don't think he played his best game, but I still think he has an abundance of quality. However, on the goal, he just completely loses Lacroix. Lacroix, to be fair to him, it's a clever header to the back post, puts it just in an area where no United player going to get to it, also puts it just in the area where Lemens can't get to it, and in the first 5 minutes of the game, at Old Trafford, in a game United know that they need to win, they need to continue to push towards the Champions League spots, they start 1-0 down. I thought the game really just lacked quality. I thought United looked really sloppy. I thought Casemiro in midfield a few times was trying to play it past, didn't look too good. Kobe a few times passed the ball to absolutely nobody. Diogo Dalot, I was singing his praises last week, and we are very objective on this channel. Time and time again, when he was getting into the right channel, it was really sloppy. Bruno Fernandes as well. Nobody really looked good. Sesko had a few good flicks. Cunha tried a couple things and Mbeumo tried a few things, but nobody really looked good. And I think that's been a pretty common theme for the past few weeks. I think against West Ham, United weren't good and they got a draw. I thought against Everton, they weren't great, to be fair. They got the win. And again, in today's game, I don't think it was an incredible performance. It was really just a sloppy first half. Nobody looked on it, and United go into the half down 1-0. Forgot to mention, before we get into the second half, Luke Shaw unfortunately went down with a knock. I'm not sure if it was from when Munoz stamped on his foot, but Mazraoui was forced to come on. And to be fair to Mazraoui, I thought he did a good job, I'll say, as a makeshift left back for the time that he played. So going into the second half, United knew that they needed to score. United knew that they needed to find a way to get all 3 points. They're at Old Trafford. Again, like I said, they need to continue to fight to get into the Champions League. This is a game that they can't let slip away from them. And this is where your big players need to show up in big moments, and that's exactly what they did. So in the goal that United scored to equalize, it's, again, a really good ball between the lines from Bruno Fernandes, who was popping into everywhere on the pitch that you can think of. This guy just plays wherever he wants, and he's good enough to do so. He plays a really good ball between the lines to Cunha, who does a really good job to spin Lacroix. And I'm going to be completely honest, and I want to know your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. I think if it's roles reversed, I think if that's United, maybe Maguire or Euro, that's pulling down one of Palace's attackers, I'm probably going to argue that I think that could be a free kick just outside the box. I understand that it's a foul that starts outside the box and carries into the box, but I'm not so sure, to be completely honest with you, if that's a penalty. But that's just my opinion. Let me know in the comments down below if you think I'm wrong. I would love to hear your perspective, but of course, extremely happy to get that given. We'll take it every single day of the week. And not only do United get a penalty awarded, they also get Cunha, more specifically, gets Lacroix sent off. So now for the rest of the game, United are playing a man up. Obviously, we saw what happened with United against Everton, playing essentially the entire game a man up, but this is a different team, or so they look it anyways. Bruno Fernandes steps up, never in doubt, puts a penalty away. They get the goal, but we know that they need to go and get a second one. And get a second one is exactly what they do. And I just want to once again give a shout out to Benjamin Sesko, because I thought once again there were large parts of the game where he wasn't so much involved. I think United didn't necessarily do the best job of getting him the ball. Again, there are issues. We're going to talk about that in a second. But the movement in the box, the fact that he gets to the ball first from where this ball comes in from Bruno Fernandes here to the 18-yard box, gets his head on it. I mean, it is just a pure striker's goal. And this guy has me doing his celebration in my living room. I mean, there is no better feeling. I said it in my video last week. There is no better feeling than watching your number 9 score goals. I mean, your big money signing. He's still such a young striker. Again, I feel like a broken record, but this guy has the toolkit to be the top of the top in world football. And it is just such a good feeling. Rewarded with his really good 2 performances as a substitute, gets to start, gets the trust from Michael Carrick. Obviously, he takes the place of Ahmad, and it is a brilliant goal. And I gotta say as well, in my opinion anyways, the delivery from Bruno Fernandes, it's just incredible. The passes that this guy can play, right side, left side, it doesn't matter. Out wide in the channels, in the half spaces, in and around the box. He is the ultimate risk taker, but I wouldn't change him for anybody in the world in his position. I'm sorry, you can argue with me if you'd like, but I wouldn't. I wouldn't swap him with anybody who plays his position in world football. He is too special to what United are, and Manchester United need to find a way to make sure that he resigns a contract in the summer. Now, again, this is more so just a reaction video. We're going to get into the tactical side of it in a video that I'm going to drop tomorrow. But you all know that we are objective on this channel, and there were some definite holes in United's setup, if you want to say, that's going to really need addressing in the summer. The number one hole is United are going to need to sign somebody to play alongside Kobe who have the legs to cover large spaces. There were a few times where, in my opinion, United got played through way too easily. And of course, I don't even need to speak about Casemiro because of everything great he's done in his career. And I'm going to be sad to see him go, an absolute legend, a GOAT of the sport. And Kobe, we don't need to talk about either because of his ability to play in tight spaces, his ability to, you give him the ball and he can kind of dictate play. He can recycle possession. You need that profile. But as the weeks are going on, I think it's very clear and evident that United lack a true athletic monster in midfield. And it is going to be so important that they get that signing right in the summer, because as good as Kobe is, and as good as I think Kobe is going to be, I think he's going to be great. United need to profile that midfielder beside him perfectly. It has to be the right signing, and we are going to drop a video on who I think United should be prioritizing in the summer in that midfield position, because it is just too important of a position to get wrong. The next thing, and we're going to get a little bit more into this in the analysis video, is United desperately lack width. Cunha and Mbeumo are not wingers. They're not touchline wingers. We saw many times Mbeumo going out to the touchline. He doesn't really look comfortable running at a fullback 1v1. I think he's a lot better in the half spaces. I think Ahmad is United's really only player who I want to see on the touchline, getting on the ball and then running at his fullback. There were so many times, especially when Mazraoui came on in place of Luke Shaw, Cunha just so central. You can tell he's really only comfortable in those half spaces. He doesn't want to go out wide. He wants to get the ball in the central pockets and connect play with Bruno and Sesko and Mbumo and whoever may be around him. Kobe desperately need width. They need it badly. I think these last few games playing against teams who just kind of sit in that block and don't necessarily give United the chance to hit them on the break, it has shown glaring holes in this side. And again, I don't necessarily think now is the right time to harp on about it because the mission is obvious. United just need to continue to win. They need to get into the Champions League. And then it's up to the people above the manager to make the right decisions and to bring in the right players. But it wasn't perfect. But the reality is right now it doesn't have to be. Right now, the reality is the most important thing is the results. And United get another big result at home. But that is it for this one. Let me know what you thought of the game in the comments down below. Let me know who your man of the match was as well. Like I said, we are going to be dropping an analysis video on the game, so remember to hit the bell notification so you never miss an upload. Subscribe if you like the content and leave a like on this video. I really appreciate it. I will chat to y'all again very soon. Until next time, peace.